Mathematics as a language of the gods. Why every enlightened master knew numbers were divine. In the beginning was the Word, says the Bible, but the universe spoke in numbers long before any language was formed. Imagine a monk seated in silence, deep in the Himalayan mountains, surrounded by nothing but the cold breath of wind and the rhythmic beat of his heart. He carves symbols into the frozen ground, not letters, but numbers. Not calculations, but invocations. He isn't solving equations. He's conversing with the divine. Numbers, to the ancients, were not sterile digits for accounting or commerce. They were the living breath of cosmic intelligence. To them, mathematics was not invented, it was discovered, like an ancient scroll etched into the very fabric of existence. From Pythagoras in the temples of Egypt, to the Vedic sages composing hymns encoded with numerical precision, from the Kabbalists of the Hebrew tradition to the mystics of Islamic geometry, numbers were sacred. Patterns were holy. And mathematics was the language through which God whispered secrets into the ear of creation. So ask yourself, why do fractals mirror the growth of trees, the pattern of galaxies, and the structure of lungs? Why does the golden ratio, 1.618, appear in sunflower spirals, nautilus shells, and the pyramids of Giza? Why did the oracle at Delphi declare, all is number? In this video, we will journey deep into the heart of sacred mathematics, not as a science of measurements, but as a mirror of the infinite. We will uncover why every enlightened master, across cultures, across time, revered numbers as divine, and how you, too, can begin to hear the sacred harmony behind the veil of form. Are you ready to see what lies behind the curtain of reality? Then come closer. The numbers are waiting. The ancient origins of sacred mathematics. Long before calculators and classrooms, long before ink dried on parchment or the first abacus was carved, numbers were already being studied, not for utility, but for their mystical resonance. The ancient Egyptians believed numbers were the bones of the gods, immutable, eternal, and structuring all of existence. Their pyramids weren't just tombs, they were numerical prayers in stone, aligned with the stars and the rhythms of the cosmos. The base, the angles, the height, all encoded with sacred proportions. These were not accidents. These were messages. The ancient Vedic sages of India composed the Rig Veda, one of the oldest known texts, with mathematical meters so precise, some scholars believe they contain hidden codes, frequencies meant to align the reader's consciousness with universal order. For the rishis, the seers, numbers were mantras in disguise, vibrations that formed the architecture of the invisible. But it was Pythagoras, the Greek philosopher and initiate of Egyptian mystery schools, who crystallized this ancient knowing in a single phrase. All is number. To Pythagoras, numbers weren't tools, they were archetypes. 1 was unity, the divine source. 2 was duality, the first split, spirit and matter. 3 was harmony, the sacred trinity. 4 was manifestation, the building blocks of the material world. And so on, in an endless spiral toward the ineffable. He founded a school not of mathematics, but of initiation, where numbers were studied not to solve problems, but to solve the self. To become divine was to understand the patterns of divinity, and those patterns were numerical. This secret was echoed in the East as well. In ancient China, the I Ching, the Book of Changes, was composed entirely from binary codes, yin and yang, 0 and 1, long before computers were even imagined. Its hexagrams were not mere philosophy, but numerical oracles, tapping into the fundamental matrix of reality. And in the Hebrew Kabbalah, Gematria transformed letters into numbers, revealing hidden meanings and divine patterns in sacred texts. To the Kabbalist, numbers weren't abstract. They were the breath of God, crystallized into form. Everywhere we look, in temples, in chants, in sacred geometry, we find the same message whispered across the sands of time. Mathematics is not man-made. It is divinely received. The metaphysics of numbers, how numbers reflect universal laws. To the mystic, a number is never just a number. It is a symbol, a key, a cosmic fingerprint. Each digit is a vessel, holding within it an archetypal essence that shapes reality itself. When properly understood, numbers reveal not just quantity, but quality, not just how much, but what kind of energy is present. One is the monad, the indivisible source, the absolute, the still point before movement. In Hermetic thought, one is God before creation, the silence before the first word. Two is duality, light and shadow, spirit and matter, the dance of polarity that makes existence possible. Without two, there is no perception, no reflection. It is the first mirror. Three is the triangle, balance, synthesis, creation. Father, mother, child. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. In the Christian mystery, it is the Holy Trinity. In Taoism, it is said, from one came two. From two came three. And from three, 10,000 things were born. Four is the number of manifestation. The square. The four elements. The four directions. The foundation of the material world. Stability. Structure. Earth. Each number from there unfolds like petals on an infinite lotus, each with deeper and more complex meaning, spiraling into the vastness of creation. This understanding is echoed in the sacred geometry of the universe. The Fibonacci sequence, where each number is the sum of the two preceding it, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, appears in pine cones, hurricanes, galaxies, and the human DNA spiral. This is not coincidence. This is a signature. These patterns aren't just beautiful. They are mathematical laws encoded into nature by a higher intelligence. When you observe a sunflower's spiral, you are staring directly at divine order in motion. The golden ratio, or phi, 1.618, is not merely a pleasing proportion. It is a harmonic blueprint that shows up in ancient art, sacred architecture, and the growth patterns of life itself. From Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man to the Parthenon in Athens to the formation of storms and stars, this ratio guides the hand of creation. Mystics have long believed that these patterns are not just physical, they are spiritual laws in disguise. They are evidence that the universe is not random. It is musical. It is mathematical. It is divine. To understand numbers is to read the mind of God. To align with them is to live in harmony with the universe itself. Practical techniques: how to use sacred mathematics in daily life. It is one thing to marvel at the divine structure of numbers. It is another to live by them. The ancient masters didn't study numbers for abstract pleasure, they used them. They lived by them. They built temples, aligned rituals, and even structured their days according to sacred numerical patterns. You can, too. 1. Aligning with number frequencies. Each number carries a vibration. This is not just poetic, it is literal. Sound frequencies correspond to mathematical values, and certain numbers resonate with specific emotional and spiritual states. Take 528 Hz, known as the love frequency. It corresponds with miracle healing and DNA repair, and is rooted in ancient solfeggio scales, a numerical system of sacred music used by Gregorian monks to elevate consciousness. Try this, meditate while listening to 528 Hz tones. As you do, visualize the number 6, its shape is spiral, feminine, nurturing. Let that form imprint itself in your energy field. Numbers are not just seen, they are felt. 2. Numerological mapping. Pythagorean numerology, one of the oldest systems, reveals that your birth date and name hold vibrational blueprints. Take your full birth date and reduce it to a single digit by adding the numbers together. For example, April 23, 1990. For +2 +3 +1 +9 +9 +0 is equal to 28. 2 + 8 is equal to 10. 1 + 0 is equal to 1. This final digit is called your life path number, a guiding force that reflects your spiritual mission. 1. The Creator. 2. The Harmonizer. 3. The Artist. 4. The Builder. 5. The Explorer. 6. The Healer. 7. The Seeker. 8. The Leader. 9. The Sage. Study the qualities of your number. Align your habits, your intentions, and even your decision-making with its essence. Live your number, and you will find flow. 3. Sacred timing. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, numbers move in cycles. Days, weeks, months, all move through energetic waves. In sacred calendars like the Mayan Tsokin or Vedic Panchang, time is not linear, it's spiral, and each point in time carries a specific vibration. When you start a new project on a numerologically auspicious day, you amplify your success. To begin, keep a personal number journal. Each morning, note the date and reduce it to a single digit. Track how your mood, intuition, and outcomes align with that number's vibration. Over time, you will begin to see a pattern, your life unfolding like a living equation. In a world ruled by chaos, sacred mathematics offers order. In a life blurred by distraction, numbers offer clarity. They are the silent guides that have always been here, waiting for us to remember. Not to calculate, but to awaken. Numbers as keys to enlightenment and divine order. There is a quiet elegance to truth. It does not shout, it resonates. And numbers are the echo of that resonance. They do not lie. They do not change. They do not fade with time. They are eternal, because they belong to eternity. Every enlightened master, whether cloaked in the robes of a Greek philosopher, a Hindu yogi, a Sufi mystic, or a Kabbalistic sage, saw the same silent truth: the universe is built on sacred number. They saw numbers not as inventions of the mind, but as revelations of the soul. They knew that by studying them, not merely with intellect, but with reverence, they could decode the divine blueprint. To them, numbers were not just mathematical, they were mystical. Not just logical, they were luminal, doorways to higher realms of awareness. And now, in a world that has forgotten the sacred and worships only the measurable, we are being called back, to remember. To see the spiral in the seashell. To hear the music in the ratios. To feel the pulse of the one in the dance of the many. So the next time you look at a number, don't just calculate. Contemplate. Ask yourself, what is this number trying to teach me? What pattern is the universe showing me right now? Because mathematics is not just the language of science. It is the language of the gods. And when you truly listen, you may find that it has been speaking to you all along. If these hidden truths stirred something within you, honor the journey, subscribe, share, and become a keeper of the Temple of Hidden Keys. The mysteries await those who listen.